morning students. Today I am going to continue the chapter Sectors of the Indian Economy. In previous video I explained you about primary sector, secondary sector and tertiary sector. In primary sector I explained you about the activities that are directly related to natural resources are termed as primary activities. For example, dairy products are also a natural product because in this case we depend on the biological process and availability of fodder, etc. Natural products or primary products are either grown on the surface of land or water or dug out of the earth. Wheat, rice, cotton, vegetables, fruits, etc. are grown on land and it is the natural products. The sector wherein activities related to the production of natural products are conducted is known as primary sector. It is a primary because it forms the base for all other products to be produced in an economy. Natural or primary products are required for the production of other secondary products. For example, cotton for cloth, sugarcane for sugar, oil seeds for edible oil, iron ore for steel, etc. Most of the natural products are produced in agriculture, dairy, forestry, fishing. This sector is also known as agriculture and related sector. In India, primary sector includes activities related to agriculture, forestry, fishing, mining and quarrying. Then I explained you about secondary sector activities which transform natural or primary products into some manufacturing products are termed as secondary activities or industrial activities. Primary products are converted into secondary products through the process of manufacturing. The process of manufacturing may be performed in a factory, a workshop or at home. Production of cloth from cotton, flour and bread from wheat, sugar and gur for sugarcane, paper and furniture from wood, steel bars and steel utensils from iron, jute products from raw jute, etc. are the examples of secondary goods. We learn that there is interdependency between primary activities and secondary activities. Since manufacturing activities are normally associated with different kinds of industries, secondary sector is also termed as industrial sector. In India, activities related to manufacturing, construction, electricity, gas and water supply are included in the secondary sector. Then tertiary sector or service sector. Activities which provide support services to primary and secondary activities are termed as tertiary activities. They are known as service activities also. Support services are related for both primary and secondary activities. For an example, we require transport facilities to bring raw materials to the factories and to send finished goods to market centers. Communication facilities such as postal service and telephone services, etc. For the transmission of news and also for interaction, education, facilities, for learning and training, and banking facilities to deposit and borrow money to help production. Transport communication, trade, banking, insurance, and all other business services are the example of tertiary sector. These services establish link between producers and consumers. These activities generate services rather than physical goods. The tertiary sector is also called service sector. In India, tertiary sector includes transport, communication and trade, banking and insurance, real estates and business services, public administration and defense and other such services. Service sector also include some of the services that are not directly helpful in the production of physical goods, but are very much essential for the smooth working of an economy. In this category, we include the services of teachers, doctors, washerman, breakers, cobbler, lawyer, accountant, etc. Recently, some of the new services have to information technology such as internet cafe, ATM booths, call centers, software companies, etc. Now, economic interdependent. Now, next topic I will explain you about interdependence of various sectors. Though economic activities are grouped into three different sectors, they are highly interdependent and complementary to each other. The development of one sector depends on the other. For example, the primary sector, mainly agriculture sector, gets many articles of its use and as fertilizers, pesticides, agriculture, machinery equipments, etc. from the secondary sector. And the secondary sector, mainly industrial sector, also receives the raw material such as iron, ore, cotton, jute, sugarcane, wool, etc. from primary sector. Similarly, both the primary and secondary sectors receives service such as transport and communication services, banking and insurance facilities, etc. From the tertiary sector, in its return, tertiary sector also requires many things from the primary sector, such as food, coal, etc. And from secondary sector, such as buildings, machines and equipments, computers, etc. Primary sector, secondary sector and service sector are interrelated and interdependent, and they mutually affect each other. Some examples of economic activities which I will take again. Suppose economic activities. Suppose the sugarcane farmers have refused to sell their sugarcane to a sugar mill in the nearby town. As a result of it, the sugar mill is forced to shut down its production. Now, what is the nature of interdependence? This shows that the production activities of sugar mill are dependent on the sugarcane farmers. This is an example which shows that secondary or industrial sector is dependent on the primary or agricultural sector. Again, next example of economic activities. Suppose the Indian textile mill imports cotton for their requirement from a foreign country and do not purchase from domestic cotton farmers. Cotton price will fall in the Indian market and cotton cultivation would become non-profitable. In this situation, farmer would stop cotton production or they would become bankrupt. Now, what is the nature of interdependence? From this example, we learn that cotton growing farmers are dependent on textile mills. This shows that the primary, that is agriculture sector, is dependent on the secondary and industrial sector. Now next, comparing the three sectors. All the economic activities are diversified and include various sections of human resource and raw materials. It becomes necessary to have an account of such activities to compare the sectional growth rate and productivity, as well as sectional analysis of their performance. It becomes confusing and complicated to count for total production as a single raw material may be used as several layers in the economy. So, economists suggest to take final goods or the goods which are to be directly consumed by consumer, not meant for further processing and final services. The performance of each sector is determined by counting only the value of final goods and services produced by the respective sectors. Now, what is the meaning of final goods and services? Goods and services that are available for purchase by their ultimate or intended user with no plans for further physical transformation or an input in the production of other goods that will be resold. Now you have to write question and answers in your fair copy. What is meant by primary sector? Why is it called so? Explain the meaning of the tertiary sector. Mention any 4 economic activities of this sector. Give the characteristics of secondary sector.